We're back.
What's up?
All right. So, for anybody that just saw us on another podcast about an hour ago, we're back. We are the crotch stain you cannot remove from your undershorts.
Just me and Doug now.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Eric, get into the shot where here. Let me pull it because they need to be able to see you too. They can't just see just a forehead. Yeah,
it's just me and Doug.
Just Eric and I. Daniel
left us.
Left us and took the hound.
He ran.
Yeah. So, our
He got sick of us.
we don't. That's actually the truth. All right. Welcome to episode. This is episode 10 of When Toons Combine. So, for anybody that's never watched the show before, because you enjoy good podcasts,
hey now.
So, what we do on this show is take usually two cartoons. Tonight's a special episode. Take two cartoons, combine them into a crossover or collaboration. I've got the script ready and written. Tonight's going to be a little longer because we got a lot more we're dealing with. Tonight is 4 cartoons. So it's the Jetsons, the Simpsons, He-Man, and the Mask animated series. So don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, or at least just like and subscribe. We don't care if you comment, especially if they're negative. But so we got 4 big ones. Next week, we're going to have a crossover with 5. And if I ever get episode 12 written, we're going to go back to 2 in 2 weeks. I just got to finish writing it.
What are the 5 again next week?
Next week is Ninja Turtles, Flintstones, Darkwing Duck, X-Men, the animated series, and the Thundercats.
Oh, wow.
So, it's going to be long. We might actually have to start. We might actually have to start the show as soon as we get back from RetroCon, and it'll still take us 12 hours. All right. So, without any further ado,
if you want to meet us, go to RetroCon this week.
Do you really want to?
Just saying.
You
never know. People might want to meet us.
Yeah. So, all right. So here we go. Here's how we started. Mr. Spacely, George Jetson's boss, calls George Jetson into his office. Jetson! Spacely Sprockets has built a new time travel pad, and I want you to keep it with you so nobody misuses it. You get a travel pad and a travel watch. So the travel pad is going to be, you step on the travel pad, then you set your watch to where you want to go. You use it anywhere, but we don't want anybody to misuse it, so I'm trusting you. All right. George takes the travel pad home with him. Mr. Spacely also gave, which I just said. I forgot that I had actually written the explanation about the watch, so I already got into it. Give him a watch, which says the time that they'll be traveling to. His wife, Jane, goes, George, what's that pad? Oh, yeah. Thank you, bud. I appreciate that. But is there a way I can... Oh, yep. Here we go. Thank you, Dahama. All right.
You the only one watching?
Yeah. You blame him? All right. George, what's that pad? Well, Jane, it's a time-traveling pad from work. George puts the travel pad in the closet. He sees his son Elroy watching The Simpsons on a classic TV channel. His boy Elroy. I don't need to be singing. All right. Watching The Simpsons on a classic TV channel and tells Elroy that's an adult show. Elroy, that's an adult show. Jane starts yelling at Elroy. Elroy, you should not be watching that. But George says, it's not really that bad. The boy gave us a heart.
Aw.
All right. Jane sends Elroy to get something from the closet. Elroy sees the travel pad and asks, Dad, what's this for? George says, it's being developed at work. This is one of the first ones made. George shows Elroy the travel watch, and Elroy asks if they're going to make more travel watches, and George says yes. Daughter Judy comes home from school crying because Marcia Van Martel, I think, humiliated her at school. Jane tells her daughter, "Oh, Marcia is just jealous of how pretty you are, Judy." Rosie, the Jetsons housekeeping robot, comes in and says, "Oh, Mr. J, or oh, Judy, you'll be I'll do Judy's makeup tomorrow and make Marcia really jealous." I probably should really start learning how to read the script beforehand. All right. A few days later, George comes home with more time travel pads and travel watches. He gives one to Elroy as a gift, but says, Elroy, you got to be careful with it. Judy comes home crying again. George tries to console her, but it doesn't work. Later that night, Judy goes into Elroy's room and grabs the time travel watch and travel pad. She steps onto it and notices that Elroy has it set for Springfield in the year 2024. Judy ends up in an alley in the year 2024. She goes to a place, or an alley in Springfield in 2024. She goes to a place called the Quickie Mart and asks the manager, Apu, what year it is. And he goes, it is 2024. That was horrible, and I apologize.
That's not. That's you're trying to give an impression of Abu.
Apu from the Simpsons, yeah.
Apu.
Yeah. She asks, she goes, where am I? And he goes, it's a town called Springfield. She doesn't know what Springfield is, and all of a sudden, Homer Simpson walks into the store. Homer asks, hey, Apu, who's the girl? And she goes, oh, I'm Judy Jetson. She said, I'm from the future, and shows Homer and Apu the time travel pad and travel watch. Homer takes Judy home with him. Homer tells his wife Marge and kids Bart and Lisa that he found this girl that's supposedly from the future. Judy shows the Simpsons the travel pad and the time travel watch. Lisa says, oh, don't worry, she can stay in my room. Meanwhile, in the future, Elroy is looking for the travel watch and travel pad when George comes into his room. George asks Elroy, what are you looking for, son? And Elroy reluctantly says, Dad, I kind of don't know where the time travel pad and watch are. George gets mad but doesn't want to yell at his son. Jane can't find Judy, so George goes to his computer at work, Rudy, to find out if Judy took the watch and the pad. When George gets to Spacely Sprockets, he goes right to Rudy and tracks Elroy's watch and pad and finds out that they're in Springfield in the year 2024. Mr. Spacely goes, Jetson, is everything all right? And George lies and says, oh yeah, Mr. Spacely, it's fine. George then hurries back home and asks Elroy why the watch and pad are set for why are the watch and pads set for Springfield 2024? Elroy answers, because I wanted to meet the Simpsons, Dad. George says, well, you're going to get your wish, son, because the Jetsons are going back in time. So.
Well, that's yours.
Yeah. A lot of things just went off. Anyway, all right. Back in Springfield, Lisa is trying to teach Judy how to play the saxophone, but Judy isn't picking it up. Marge asks Homer, Homie, have you located Judy's parents? And Homer says he doesn't even know. Gee, Marge, I don't know how. Horrible impressions. I'll never be invited to an impressionist week on a talk show. All right. Back in the future, Jane has 4 suitcases packed, and George says it shouldn't really take that long, Jane. Ugh.
I'm intrigued to see how the Mask and He-Man play into this.
Well, I'm getting to it, I think. They say goodbye to their maid, Rosie, the robot, and head back in time to Springfield 2024. The Jetsons end up in the parking lot of Moe's Tavern. They go inside, and Moe, the owner, says, excuse me there, young fella, you should not be in here. And George explains to Moe, he says, they are from the future, and Moe says that a girl claiming to be from the future, girl claiming to be from the future showed up at the Quickie Mart just last night. Jane asks, "Where is the girl? Is the girl now?" And Moe says she's staying with my buddy Homer Simpson. Moe gives the Jetsons directions to the Simpson house. Meanwhile, back in the future, Mr. Spacely shows up at the Jetsons' home looking for George. Where's Jetson? Rosie says, he's not home right now, Mr. Spacely. Spacely asks, well, where is he? Rosie said that there was an issue and the Jetsons had to go back to the past. Spacely starts yelling and demands Rosie calls. You need to call him right now. Astro, the Jetsons' dog, starts barking and saying, ruff, ruff, rack off, Mr. Raceway. Rosie calls George, and Spacely tells George, you need to come back immediately because I need you to go back in time with me to Edge City 1997. I need you to retrieve an ancient mask that I have been told is worth millions of dollars. Oh. George says, I have to take care of family business first, Mr. Spacely. Spacely gets mad, so Astro bites him. And then I got to flip about 25 pages here. This thing actually went longer than I thought. So, I had to do more work on this than I thought because I'm doing 4 cartoons.
Oh, wow.
So this is longer than the usual 4-pager. Astro grabs the travel pad and watch from Mr. Spacely. Astro then goes to travel back in time, but Spacely jumps on the pad with him. So this ought to be good. Back in Springfield, the Jetsons arrive at the Simpson house. Bart answers the door and goes, who the heck are you? Elroy answers, my sister Judy's in your house. Bart's like, okay, and lets them in. Bart tells Judy, your family's here. And she's like, I don't want to deal with my father. Then George and Homer meet.
Wow.
George asks Homer, where's my travel pad and the travel watch? Homer says, well, I kind of spilled my beer on the watch and ruined it. And my boss, Mr. Burns, has the travel pad because he wants to experiment with it. George says, well, I want the travel pad back. And Homer said, I'm not sticking up to Mr. Burns. Screw that. George said he's already in trouble with his boss. I'm already in trouble with my boss, Mr. Spacely. So I'm not leaving without my travel pad. All right. Mr. Spacely and Astro end up in Edge City. Mr. Spacely asks for a Stanley Ipkiss, and news reporter Peggy Brandt tells him, oh, well, he works at this bank. Spacely and Astro go see Spacely, and Spacely asks Stanley, I need to know about this mask. And Stanley goes, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Spacely then waits outside for Stanley to get out of work so him and Astro can follow Ipkiss home. Ipkiss comes out and goes home so Spacely and Astro follow him. When they get to his apartment, Stanley's dog Milo attacks Spacely. Stanley gets nervous when Astro gets near him, but Astro just starts licking him. Spacely doesn't. Stanley doesn't want to give the mask up, so Astro takes Stanley with him. He goes, "Oh, let's rid on this rabble rad." And Mr. Space, and they leave Mr. Spacely in Edge City. Back in Springfield, George and Homer go see Mr. Burns and try to get the travel pad back. Mr. Burns refuses. He goes, I don't think so, Simpson. I want to experiment with it. All of a sudden, Astro and Ipkiss show up from Edge City. Stanley puts the mask on and starts terrorizing Mr. Burns and the power plant. George asks Astro, where's Mr. Spacely? And Astro goes, reason Red's ready. All dogs talk, they talk with the letter R. If you've ever watched Scooby-Doo, and if you've ever watched the Jetsons thing, you know that my impressions really aren't that bad. I can do the impression of a dog. Not very well, but I can do it.
We did Scooby-Doo a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we did. That was a fun one. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. That was 2 weeks ago? Yeah. I think that was 2 weeks ago.
I believe so, yeah. George asks Astro, Ed City. Homer almost drops the travel pad, but Astro catches it with his mouth. They all escape the plant and head back to the Simpson house. Stanley takes off the mask. Marge and Jane tell George, Judy ran away again because she doesn't want to go home, and Elroy, Lisa, and Bart went to look for her. Smithers, Mr. Burns' assistant, shows up at the Jetson house wanting the travel pad back, but Stanley puts the mask on Astro, and he attacks Smithers. That might have been scary for a lot of youngsters watching the show. Marge tells George, our neighbor Flanders is fixing the time watch. So, unlike last week when I left a lot of characters off of like Ed, Ed, and Eddie and the Power, like a lot of the side characters off Ed, Ed, and Eddie, I'm trying to do a better job this week, even though technically I wrote this like 3 months ago, or like 2 or 3 months ago, whenever the hell I did it. I feel like I'm trying to do a better job incorporating the side characters. At least the side characters for the Simpsons and for the Jetsons.
Yeah. But those are more part of the show.
Well, yeah, because that's technically what this crossover was until I decided to just add more because I like to do that. Elroy calls George, goes, Dad, Judy was working for this guy, Krusty the Clown. George pulls the mask off Astro and tells him and Stanley to go pick up Elroy and Judy and head back to the future. Just as he says that, Mr. Burns shows up with government officials looking for Stanley and Astro.
Whoa.
George says, change of plans. You two go back to the future now. Astro and Stanley get on the pad, and Mr. Burns tries to stop them, but Jane hits him with a frying pan. Stanley and Astro head back to the future. Oh boy, I put a lot into this.
Yes, you did. Good job.
Thank you. Oh, we're not done. We got a lot more to go.
Oh, okay.
At least. At least another about another page and a half, 2 pages.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. Astro takes off, or Homer takes off to try to find the kids. George goes to talk to Ned Flanders. Flanders tells him that the watch is almost fixed. Rosie calls George from the future and says, Mr. J, Elroy ran into some trouble. George goes, Rosie, where's Elroy? Rosie goes, him and Judy took the Simpson kids and their travel plaid to a place called Eternia, the home of the He-Man. George asks, why did they go to Eternia? And Rosie said it was Judy's idea. George tells Jane, Homer, and Marge that the kids traveled to Eternia. Homer doesn't know. Homer's like, where's Eternia?
Where's Eternia?
It's a fictional cartoon planet.
Oh, duh.
Yeah. It's in Kansas.
In Springfield, in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, not Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah. Well, there's also Springfield, Massachusetts, too.
Oh.
I don't know where the hell this Springfield is, but.
Yeah, I forgot there was Springfield. Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's Eternia is like 20 miles outside of Des Moines, in Iowa.
Where's Seth Rollins from?
He's from Davenport, I think.
Oh, okay.
Homer doesn't know where Eternia is. Marge looks it up on a map and gets word. She tells George, it's on another planet. So here we go. Elroy is on Eternia. Elroy is trying to get the time watch from Judy, but she shoves him down. A woman named Evelyn shows up and captures Lisa and Judy. Elroy and Bart are able to escape. A creature named Orko arrives and goes, don't worry, I'll bring you two kids to safety. Orko asks Elroy, where did you two come from? And Elroy shows him the travel pad. Orko then takes them to see Man-at-Arms and Adam, also known as He-Man. Elroy and Bart explain to Man-at-Arms and Adam what happened. Adam asks Elroy, is there any way you can contact your parents? Elroy says he has a phone. Adam has Elroy call George and tell him, don't worry, Dad, we're okay. George says, I'm going to call Rosie and have Stanley and Astro travel back to Eternia, or travel to Eternia. We got to get you guys out of there. Rosie gets the call and sends Stanley and Astro to Eternia. Meanwhile, Skeletor, a villain of He-Man's, and Evelyn interrogate Judy and Lisa about why they're here. Judy says, it's none of your business. Cobra Khan shows up and sprays Lisa with his sleep mist. Judy starts screaming, so Cobra sprays her with the sleep mist as well. Astro and Stanley meet up with Elroy and Bart. Stanley shows Man-at-Arms the mask and says he can storm Skeletor's castle and get the girls out. Adam tells him that they need to be smart about this because Skeletor and Evelyn are dangerous. This could technically be a live action comedy if they want. All the funny stuff going on here. Meanwhile, back in Springfield, Flanders fixes Elroy's time watch, so George, Homer, Jane, and Marge take off for Eternia. When they get there, Man-at-Arms tells them where the girls are, but also lets them know our enemies are very dangerous here. Adam transforms into He-Man. By the power of Grayskull, I am He-Man. I have the power.
But your buddy doesn't like.
Oh no, he's gonna, especially when I send him this episode, he's gonna be pissed. And I'm gonna find it hilarious. All right.
You should give him a shout out.
Nah. All right. Orko takes Elroy, Bart, Stanley, and all right. Adam transforms into He-Man, takes Homer and George with him. Orko takes Elroy, Bart, Stanley, and Astro with him. Teela, He-Man's counterpart, What does she do? Oh, she takes George and or Jane and Marge with her. Stanley puts the mask on. Stanley puts the mask back on Astro because why not?
So is Jim Carrey playing him?
No, Jim Carrey does not voice this character. It's based on a Jim Carrey movie,
Oh, okay.
but it's not him. All right. Cobra Khan tries to miss Stanley, but Bart shoots him with a slingshot. Orko elevates Elroy with a spell, and Elroy grabs the keys and frees Judy and Lisa. He-Man and Skeletor battle. Evil Lynn tries to get involved, but she is tripped by Homer and smacked by Jane. Astro bites Evil Lynn and Orko locks her up. Skeletor runs away before He-Man can finish him off. George and Judy hug and make up. Judy says, "Dad, I'm sorry for causing all this trouble." Elroy and Astro thank He-Man and Orko for their help. Astro takes Stanley and the mask back to Edge City. George and Jane take the Simpsons home. Bart gives Elroy his slingshot. The Jetsons meet back in the future. George asks Astro where Mr. Spacely is, and Astro says, "Well, my left rim rack and red's ready." The end. What a roller coaster ride that was, huh?
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was mainly centered between Jetsons and Simpsons, and then the He-Man and Mask were sidekick.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty much what this was kind of meant to be, because this really was Jetsons and the Simpsons. But I feel like He-Man and the Mask kind of added a little bit of another element, more intrigue. I mean, I would love if somehow this would get passed and they would do something.
I think it would be a good movie.
That's what I was thinking too. It was like you could turn this into a movie.
Yeah.
Either obviously an animated movie, but I think it would be. I mean, I would love it.
Yeah, the Jetsons and Simpsons are two of the most popular cartoons.
They're two of the most popular cartoons. He-Man was very popular back in its day. The Mask obviously was a very popular Jim Carrey movie. And by the way, the cartoon actually lasted for a couple of years.
Yep.
So, think about it. Somebody somewhere.
Somebody in Hollywood's watching.
Yeah, somebody in Hollywood's watching. Give us a call. We'll sell you the script. I mean, you might want to make some changes to it or whatever. But
is Daniel still watching?
No, I think he's done.
Oh, okay.
He's probably about 3 beers deep right now. But so you liked it?
I liked it. Yeah, I would give it a 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. That's like your usual score.
What did I give it last week?
You weren't even on the show last week.
I was in the chat. Remember?
Oh yeah.
I gave you guys support.
Yes, you did. So all right, but yeah. So this episode, it went like it took me longer to read the episode because there was more pages. I mean, we're still probably going to end up a little less than a half hour.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
But yeah, no, I really
15 minutes longer than me.
Yeah, because usually I could get this done in 15 minutes because it's a longer episode.
Yep.
Which, I personally like this, and then next week is going to be a big one as well. I can't wait for that. But this one is one that I'm very proud of.
Very good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The
next week is Flintstones. That's all I remember.
Flintstones, Ninja Turtles, Darkwing Duck, Thundercats, and X-Men the animated series.
Okay.
So, but
and we could ask one of our friends to get out. Come on.
Yeah, we can kidnap him and bring him here.
Baron.
That's who I'm thinking of because if we kidnap Liz and bring her here,
She would, or we probably can kidnap Karen.
by the way, because I know she's in the chat. Hi, mom.
She's there. Oh,
And I just shouted her out, and she got off. She got out of the chat room. Oh, that's a mother's love. I mean, she liked the video, so I'm assuming it's her.
Facebook one.
Yeah. Unless that was Liz, and I just really crossed a line.
Can you check who it is? No.
Check in a few minutes. But yeah, so we got, and then in 2 weeks, as long as I haven't finished,
Karen.
good man. As long as I haven't finished in 2 weeks. Oh, hi, ma. So she didn't leave.
She didn't have to use the comments.
Yeah. Well, she's commenting. She's watching the video through Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Which, by the way, is probably the easiest thing to do, especially if you want to leave comments. But yeah, and I think because well, she grew up watching the Jetsons and the Flintstones and all that.
Yep.
So
Your dad too.
Oh yeah, him too. But we're giving a shout out to my mom here. Don't ruin it by talking about my dad.
She's probably laughing right now.
Or well, probably. So
she's probably gonna leave now. I should shut up. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, so but yeah, she grew up watching The Simpsons, I think. So, or not the Simpsons, the Jetsons. So, like, this is probably something for her. Like, and she'll probably be watching next week's episode too if she knows that it's going to be the Flintstones and the Ninja Turtles.
She should come on. I'm joking.
I mean, she's got an open invitation, I think.
I was joking.
Yeah. Anyway, so Jetsons, because Simpsons and Jetsons, I watched the Jetsons a lot when I was younger, and I used to watch the Simpsons a little bit too until my parents realized that it was not the show for me or a kid my age. So stopped watching that. I loved the Mask movie, and I did watch the Mask show a little bit. Not really a big fan of He-Man, but this was probably. Well, we'd love to have you on next week, Ma. Don't worry, I'll remind you a few times.
Oh.
When I say a few, I probably mean like 30.
That would be fun.
Yeah. We could probably send her the invite or whatever. Or we'd probably have to show her how to work the thing, but
yeah, Kenny probably can help her.
He'd yell at her the entire time. But yeah, but next week is 5 shows. Well, 4, because I'm not really a big Thundercats fan. But next week, 4 out of the 5 shows are 4 of my favorites. So that's gonna be, and that's why next week's script is like 19 pages.
Whoa.
Oh, I went ham. Well, because I wrote out all the dialogue.
Ah, okay.
I wrote out all the dialogue because I am damn well determined to try to get some impressions down.
Ooh.
Not gonna happen, but but yeah. So, and then in 2 weeks, it's gonna be Street Sharks and Dexter's Laboratory. I'm still writing that right now, but I think I'm almost done.
Isn't that Clint's favorite show?
The Street Sharks is, yeah. But I came up with a pretty good storyline for it, so I
don't like that episode.
Yeah. And then I got other shows that still need to be written, and I'm going to work on that because now we're getting to the point where like I had so many written ahead of time, but then I started actually putting effort into these. So they kind of, screwed up my my rhythm a little bit because, I was putting like and I put effort into all of them, but like the fact that I was like really going in depth and really going in detail like this episode here. Like this was got to make sure because I had these plans, which by the way was not actually a plan until I started writing the show.
What?
Putting He-Man in a mask in it.
Oh, okay.
Because I just started writing it and I'm like, all right, how do we make this better? Then I just start writing stuff for the mask, and then I'm like, all right, how do we enhance it even more? Okay, we'll do some He-Man.
How do you come up with He-Man?
I didn't create the show.
No.
No,
How do you come up with the idea to add that?
Because I didn't really have it for another crossover yet.
Okay.
And I was just like, you know what? Can we make it work? And I think we did.
I think you did.
Yeah. So
I think your mom thinks you did.
Yeah. Well, this is moral support.
Is she still watching? Are you still watching?
I mean, it says she is. She probably is not. She is probably fuming right now that we've given her so many shout outs. Yes, you're fuming that we're giving you so many shout outs, or yes, you're still watching.
Is Kenny watching too?
I don't know. He's probably in his room playing video games. Yeah, so yeah, next week gonna be a huge one. I can't wait for it. And it's gonna be what's funny, it's doing all that.
Can you imagine if Baron Ashley decided to come over and the three of us were sitting here?
Well, here's the thing. If Baron did come over here, like you're like 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
All right. Baron's not that. Baron's skinny himself. All right. So basically, the two of you, my fat behind. Don't want to swear. It's a kid show. Even though we technically just covered the Simpsons. Like in between the two of you, like we'd be able to fit back here. It wouldn't be a struggle.
Yeah.
And Mom just confirmed Kenny is playing video games. He's gonna listen to this later and be mad.
Hi, Kenny.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny, how you doing? All right, but yeah, so that's this week's episode. We've gone 37 minutes. The longest when Toons combine.
7 minutes of just giving your mom a shout out.
Yeah.
I mean, not shout
out.
Shout out.
Yeah, she knows why I get mad. But yeah, we've gone 37. By the way, it's taken it took me almost like 28 minutes to read the thing. So
obviously 10 minutes of just
goofing around. Yeah, that's what we do. But all right, you got anything else? I mean, we've plugged the heck out of next week's show.
Listen to Bros Down tomorrow.
Oh, Bro Down tomorrow morning.
Bobby and Daniel.
Yep, Bobby and Daniel. Listen to the
show.
Stabcast tomorrow with Daniel and Mindy.
And unscripted sports show.
Unscripted sports show, when that starts when? Monday?
Yeah. I've been doing some shows I did a show this past week.
Yep. Subscribe, like, comment, and hit the bell. Follow us on X at Wrestling Through the Years Pod, which is the main channel for our network. But like, subscribe, comment for everything.
Yep.
We got another comment in the chat, so I'm pretty sure I'm getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Oh, bye, Ma.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see everybody next week. Ninja Turtles, Flintstones, He-Man, Darkwing Duck, X-Men the Animated Series. It is going to be huge. If you would like to be part of the chat, just let us know. Like, we'll send you the link for StreamYard, or like you could just chat just like Mama was doing through Facebook. Obviously, you can be part of the YouTube chat, the live chat there, because we would love the feedback.
Yep.
And all right, for E-Money, I'm Dutchy. I guess our names are backwards, but that's how we roll on this show. All right, we'll see everybody next week.
Later.